Hi, I'm Casey, your business buddy. Welcome to today's session of Start Small, Grow Big. How has it been? I've been getting your feedbacks and your comments. Please keep them coming. In today's session, we will treat something very unique and important, and that is how to create a brand identity. I know you're a small business, but that doesn't mean you should be lost in the park. You're a small business, but you're unique. As an individual, you're unique. There are a couple of things that make you unique and differentiate you from the next person. Same way, your business should be unique in itself. Even before we begin to talk about your products and your services, before we begin to experience them or even consume your products and the services that you deliver, at sight, we should be able to differentiate you because you have an identity. So, speaking to brand identity, what are some of the elements that we need to look at? Number one, a name. What's the name of your business? Why is there need for a name? One of the essence of having a name is so that there is something to mention when we want to reach out to you. Just like your name could be Jack, could be John, or Paula. Same way, when we want to reach out to your business, there should be something to refer to. And so it's very important that you have a name. In having a name, your name should also resonate with what you want to be known for. It's not just enough to have a name. It's important that your name resonates with what you want to be known for. It resonates with the product that you deliver, it resonates with your service, it resonates with your industry, it resonates with what you want to be known for. Every business has a vision, or at least a mission, stemming from the problems or the needs that you have identified that you want to solve. So each time your name is referred to, it should resonate again that you are the solution to that problem. So in getting a name, you need to ensure that that name speaks to what you want to be known for. One other thing you should consider about your name is that it should be simple enough that you can communicate it to a little child. When I speak to small business owners, I ask them, even when it has to do with the product or the service they deliver, in trying to make them pitch, I would say, explain what you do to a 4-year-old. Same way when it has to do with your name. Can a 4-year-old pronounce your name? For some of us, we try to make our names speak to our culture. We try to make our names, we try to derive our names from our culture, from our local language, from our native dialect. That's perfect, especially if that language speaks to the people who will be utilizing that product. But there is a word of caution as you do this. Remember that the world is turning to a global village. And if you must choose a name that emanates from your culture or from your native dialect, ensure that it's simple enough for someone from anywhere, any part of the world, to be able to pronounce it. I mean, if we can't pronounce your name, it means it's almost lost. If people would rather avoid biting their tongue just because they want to call the name of your business, what makes you think they would want to give you that business? So these are some of the considerations you should have in trying to get a name for your business. Another consideration you might want to have is that even if your name does not speak to your product or service, it can speak directly to you. Every organization derives its culture, derives its style, its ways from the founding fathers, from the founders, from the owner. Your name can also be a part of your business. As a matter of fact, your business can be an extension of your own name. That is, if you have a vision to probably leave a legacy and you want that name to resonate. In other words, your business can be Paula anything. This way, it may not necessarily be speaking to the product, but it can be speaking to you as an individual. Another word of caution This should be if you have also built a name as a reputable brand. If you've built yourself as an individual and you've built yourself in a reputable fashion. And of course, this means you're not using just a first name basis, but a first name and a last name. That way, you're simply saying, if you want to remember this product, remember this individual. And that also means that there is something worthy of note about you as an individual that you would want the product to also be related with. It could be your integrity, the fact that you're trustworthy, the fact that you have a great knack for excellence, etc., etc. Another component of your brand identity outside your name are your colors. What are your colors? Remember, colors say a lot. The world is filled with colors. Nature, everywhere you look, there's some color. Existence itself is embedded in different colors. So, what colors would you want to be identified with? Different colors speak to different things. When people want to talk about passion, being fiery, you see the color red used. Most times, corporate organizations depict themselves with the color blue. It has a cool tone. It has a solid feel, showing that this is stable. As a corporate entity, it is stable. Yellow speaks to brightness, speaks to life. Green oftentimes also speaks to life. When some people want to further speak to stability, they use the color black. So there are brands you see, and what you see is black. At other times, white may just be the color of the day. So what exactly is it that you want to communicate? Depending on what you want to communicate, you choose the color that speaks to exactly what you want to communicate. Remember that at every point in time, when we see this, what we quickly remember is that this is the brand in reference. Another element you may want to look at is what we call a logo. This is usually like a signage, an icon, something that represents you. And so before we even remember your name, before someone thinks about your name, that icon is embedded in the minds of the people. You would need to come up with one. And remember also, as you come up with your logo, there's a need to consider your fonts, your style. Do you want your brand to be remembered to be a bit playful? Do you want it to be remembered to be very strong? Depending on what you want to be remembered for. And you know that in considering all of this, you should have the customer at the center of it all. If you haven't listened to my session on Know Your Customer, it might be good you do so after this particular session. The customer should be at the center of it all. What exactly would be appealing to my customer? Aside these three elements, remember your logo should embed your font, your style, and even the way you communicate it. Beyond this particular element, another element I'd like to point to, and that may just be the last, has nothing to do with very abstract terms. It has to do with you and your team. It has to do with your people. Oftentimes, I say to business owners, you don't need to try so hard to find a USP. Many times people try very hard to innovate, create something, and at times it's even a mess. Trying to tweak something that's already existing. I ask the question, why damage something that's already working in the name that you want to innovate? Why are you trying so hard to be innovative? Rather than do that, one of the ways you can differentiate yourself is through your people, your culture. Build a team that has a formidable culture. Build a team that we can recognize at every point in time based on the things that they do. When I call your customer service lines, how do I feel? Would it be the same if I was speaking to you, the owner of the business? If I meet an operational team member, would I feel the same way if I had met a very aggressive salesperson? Put simply, your culture is also a unique identifier. I know there could be a lot more, But the truth is, if you put these 4 to play, you would have gone a long way to identify yourself. And don't forget, while you're trying to identify yourself, ensuring that your name is registered as a legal entity with the local authorities is a major identifier. Beyond your customers, the government of the day needs to identify you as a business. You need to pay your taxes. You need to comply with the regulations. You need to ensure that you abide by the statutory laws. And there's no other way that can be done effectively if your name is not registered. Until the next session, remember, I'm Casey, your business buddy. Don't forget to drop your comments. Don't forget to ask questions. Don't forget to contribute. Yes, contribute. A lot of people troll the walls, and they may just pick a thing or two from the things you have shared. See ya.